What's going on?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe in fate, don't believe in ceilings. I just need a taste till my mind starts feeling. I don't pace myself, I grind on kneeling. Got lust for change, I just love the feeling. I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. And I ain't gonna give up. Got too little time, I'ma live up. Head down, push forward through the tough times. Cause anything worth doing is a tough climb. Cause I'ma live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I live life for the fight, yeah, I'm here to get it. I got drive, got sight, always have a vision. I don't lie at night, I be in my feelings. I'ma be fine, need time, and I'll soon be winning. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If you wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon.
It was either knock knock or step step. Very loud right behind me in the background. And it was just one of those instant, like it was right at me.
Got you guys. Happy Halloween. This is the last Sunday show. It's not the last show, but it's the last Sunday show before our sacred holiday Halloween on Thursday. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Dead Air Live and a Dead Air Full Spectrum channel. We so thank you for joining us tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun. We've got our very good friends, Cheryl Plumb and Melissa St. Hilaire, joining us and talking about their exploits with one Mr. Ken DaCosta in the New England area just about a week or two ago. So we are excited to have them join us, and we're excited to have you join us for tonight also. Ken, you ready for the little banners so we can go through that? Okay, we are simulcast with kgradb.com/dead air. Also on Twitter, Global Radio Live, our YouTube channel, of course, you could find / Dead Air Nation. Facebook is Dead Air Full Spectrum. Our personal Twitter account for the show is Dead_Spectrum. And, of course, you guys have a chance to get with us on Patreon. If you haven't subscribed yet, do so because it's starting to fill up on our Monday night town halls, and you want to get that space in there. For sure, it's a place you want to check out. So, yeah, we are going to have a little bit of fun tonight, Ken, with some great investigators and good friends of ours, and actually the contributors to the show with Melissa a lot of the times doing her Secrets of the Craft show, and then we've got Cheryl Plumb who joins us on Town Hall. So we're thrilled to have a little conversation with them tonight, are we not?
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a lot of fun spending time with them when they came across the continental United States to visit Rhode Island and Massachusetts, and we managed to make some time for each other. I spent a little time at one of the locations, the Payne House, because, of course, we had a show that night to do. But they pretty much had all the autonomy in the world, and Sandy Andrews joined them as well. And they had a chance for about 3 or 4 hours to go in unimpeded into the paid house, do their own investigation, and we're going to show you some clips from that tonight, as well as another location in Plymouth, Massachusetts that we have to keep on the hush hush. So we've got some clips from that to show you. Some of them are evidential, and others are just to kind of get a flavor of the type of places that we were at. So we were very happy that they're going to come in and join us tonight and talk a little bit about their experiences there. Yes, Jonathan at the show. Jonathan was at my table last night.
What?
At Cody and Satori's show, who just left here, by the way. Tori's feeling a little under the weather, so we had a bite to eat. We talked a little bit about Tuesday night, which we'll talk about a little bit. We have a very special thing planned for you on Tuesday night. And, of course, we had to go for ice cream, and they had to leave. So.
Oh, no. Well, feel better, Tori. Feel better. That's important. You know, we just we want to make sure that everything's okay. So,
good point, Melissa. We did. We had a lot of fun. And just a quick word on the interactive show Cody and Satori put on last night. Jonathan can back me up on this. It was phenomenal. They put so much work and effort into this. And it's not a presentation at a library where they tell ghost stories. This was interactive with the audience about their museum, and it, for all intents and purposes, is a stage show. So hopefully, if they continue to do this in different venues, we'll help to promote it and let you know when that is. But it was fantastic. Also, a really good time spending a lot of time with Jay and Chris Hawes last night.
Nice. Very, very nice. So they got parental support, which is always very, very good. Were they nervous?
Yeah. You know, opening night, dude. Bright lights. Opening night. But so well done. So well presented. And wow. I mean, it was amazing to the audience. A lot of laughs, a lot of oohs and ahs. So congratulations for them on putting together a great show last night.
Was it filmed at all? Is there something people are going to get a chance to see, or you either buy tickets or you miss out?
I think that there may be some clips of it, but it wasn't one of those type of things where, you know, on the first night, you know, they wanted to have this film. But, you know, there are some still photos and some clips that you can find out there.
Sure. Understood. Do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you're joining us for the first time or you're not already a subscriber. Also, don't forget the thumbs up. That's important to let us know what you think of the content each and every week that we provide for you. And a reminder bell for that content. There you go. So you guys get the indicator. You know, we needed a haunted bell this week. I didn't even think about that. That's okay. We will move on. Holidays notwithstanding, and this year has flown by. And hopefully that'll be the same situation for the months of November and December, get into the new year, see what happens. But what we don't hope is that the night flies by, because even though we're going to have a good time with our guests tonight, certainly there's a lot to go over, a lot to discuss. And I get to be somewhat of a fly on the wall on this particular case because they're all up in New England. I'm stuck down here in the swamp in Florida. So I will enjoy as well as the rest of you guys here. But Ken, if you want to introduce our wonderful friends joining us tonight.
Sure. One last note for you for our Patreon viewers tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. I got some things to say, and we'll just leave it right there. You're probably not going to want to miss this. But
yeah,
in any event, tonight is the important night. So we're going to welcome in two very dear friends of ours. They've been with us before, and we always have a lot of fun with them. First, there is the American Witch, Melissa St. Hilaire, an investigator extraordinaire and just one of the great and funny people you want to investigate with. Cheryl Plumb. Come on in, ladies. Yay.
Hello. Nice to be back, guys. It's been so long.
How are we doing?
Been so long, it's like every week now.
I know.
We're chit chatting and seeing you guys. It's been a whirlwind for you. You guys kind of been out and jet setting around a little bit. Are you settled back in at home now? Everything is back to normal.
Yes, I
Literally,
had to fly my broom a little too much.
Oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
I've had about an hour home now, so
Oh my
I'm
God!
good.
The witches of Westwick.
More like the
Hell.
witches of Westwood, right?
Yeah,
Right?
See what I did there?
that's beautiful. I'm just readjusting this. I still got to get a new chair that doesn't make me fall back when I'm talking. So I'll work on that there. But thanks you guys for joining us tonight. What is this all about? What's all the hubbub? What's all of this that's going on that we're going to be talking about tonight? You guys flew where?
Melissa?
Well, we flew to Massachusetts. I'm originally from Massachusetts, and I was going back to go to Mass Paracon, which is my first Paracon ever. I had never gone to one before, and I wanted to have a table and do the whole vending thing and meet people and just see what that world is like. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to Mass Paracon, and Cheryl was good enough to join me. And then because we were going to be there anyway, we were like, why don't we set up some fun stuff to do? So I planned like a private seance and ghost hunt that was just in that location that we can't say. And then Ken was good enough to offer us the Paint House to check out. So we jumped on it. We're so excited.
I did kind of bribe him, didn't I? No?
Just a little.
No, and let me tell you, the Mass Paracon, we met so many great people, and literally, I'm so glad that we went because I've got some more like lifelong friends and like really incredible people that I'm definitely going to be doing things with in the future. So
yeah, that was so much fun.
It was. The people were fantastic. I was nervous, but
I know. I'm so shy. I like never leave my house, and then when I do, I fly 3,000 miles away and go to a conference.
let me ask you this one question, and then I'll let you guys get to it because I know you have a lot to cover. Ken has a lot to cover with you, but especially for Cheryl and Melissa, you're from the New England area. But Cheryl, when you're going to the other coast, is there a different energy, a different vibe with East Coasters to West Coasters? And what is it?
The people, yes. I totally started talking like them the minute I got there, which was awesome. Get my coffee, get the car, drink some water. Right. And then it's a lot different energy as far as the land goes because there's more history. It's older. It's, there's a lot of history that's still, I'm already getting goosebumps thinking about it.
I have to say,
yeah, so much history.
She shows up. So my mom lives in Plymouth, Mass. And right down the street from Burial Hill and the the Pilgrim Memorial Monument thing. I mean, there's just it's as Plymouth is America's hometown. It's like so much history. I'm used to it because I go there all the time, and it's so funny because Cheryl walks into my mom's house and is like, "What is going on?" Like
I was sick. Immediately. I was like, I don't feel good. What's the altitude here?
Right. I'm like, it's on the water. There's no altitude.
What do you think? It's like Mount Fuji out here or something?
I felt like I was walking up the stairs at the Stanley Hotel to the 4th floor with 2 drinks in me.
And that's just, yeah. I mean, honestly,
we're a coastal community. Yeah. That means
I know, but that's how it felt. I felt like, that uncomfortable altitude sickness and I didn't have that in the upstairs of your mom's house. I just had it downstairs. So
closer to that.
It was a nice welcome.
Wait a minute. And Ken, you're probably the one that's most educated with regards to this. Is the Panama Canal, does it raise or lower to which side? Is the Atlantic Ocean lower than the Pacific?
No.
I'll have to take a look at that because, they've got to raise in order to get the boats through.
We get a 50% chance of being right.
Yeah.
But I'm saying we may be below sea level for them. That's why it can be a little bit disorienting for them. They're the water in their body is used to the Pacific Ocean, not the Atlantic Ocean.
But when I left the house, I felt totally fine. It was something vibing me in that lower part of the house for some reason.
It's an old house too.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I know you guys got a lot to cover. Ken, take it away, and
Sure.
let's go over some of this experience with you guys.
Okay, sure. So, we talk a lot about the Payne House on here, probably to everybody's dismay. They've heard about this for 2 years now. So we've had a lot of evidence. We've shown a lot of clips and things like that, and people have had their experiences, but they're mostly, for the most part, from the Northeast. And coming over, is there anything that you can equate that particular property to on the West Coast? Because, I mean, you have buildings that were built there in the 1700s as well. We don't have a monopoly on it. But is there a little something, maybe architecturally, or Cheryl started talking about the vibe a little bit. So I'm curious to know if you kind of felt that, or you had any feelings going into it as far as expectations. So tell us a little bit about coming over and walking in that door and seeing, the furniture, the way it was, um, you know, all the accoutrements, the way it was appointed. So I'm curious to hear.
Well, that was weird.
Got me on that.
Cheryl.
Oh,
Yep.
it's you.
It's Cheryl.
Cheryl, you're haunted.
What did you bring back from New England, Cheryl?
I'm gonna have to come do a house blessing for her. Well, I'll start if that's okay, and then Cheryl will get you. We'll get you. Maybe you need headphones. So when we first got to the house, like when I first get to any new location, I don't want to know anything about it. Cheryl is usually the one who gets all the history, but from a medium perspective, I just want to go in completely blank and just vibe out the space. And the thing that I thought was interesting about the Payne House was that I instantly felt like it was filled with people. Like it just felt like from top to bottom. And it's not that, it's not a small house, but it's not like, it's not an inn. You know what I mean? It's a normal sized house, but it just felt like, I don't know. It didn't feel to me like a normal haunted house that I would go to, where I would feel like a handful of entities. This one felt like it was just ridiculously packed. So that was interesting. And then going into it, I immediately got this sense of like, I felt like, I don't know how to put this, like almost like time displacement. Like I felt like parts of the house felt like it was from different eras than others, which I didn't know at first, but then Ken explained afterwards that it was kind of piecemeal put together over a period of time. So then I was like, oh, well, this makes sense.
Right.
And I believe you also mentioned that it had been some sort of a tavern or something. So that also then made sense, where it was like, oh, okay, this is why there's so many people here. It doesn't just feel like a family. It feels like, the Glen Tavern Inn or one of those places where tons of people are coming in and out of it all of the time. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, and I did film your walkthrough, and I sent them some of those clips of some of the rooms that we really got into during this investigation.
Yeah, I think that, I'll just start off with that clip. Now, if anyone out there, if you're an investigator, you use psychics, or are there psychics in your group, there are certain ways you go about this. Melissa talked about it. We've been into different locations, not a lot. We don't use psychics a lot, but there is a process where we don't say anything. I offer at first, and for the most part, someone with psychic abilities will say, I don't want to know anything, and that's fine with me. We'll just go for a walk. So if you haven't really experienced, or you wonder exactly what it's like when a psychic walks into a place cold and they've never been there before, I'm going to play a little clip because we got a few of these, and you can also use these as a way to kind of look around the paint house too to see what we're talking about. But this is the initial, I believe, clip of Melissa coming in, and if it's not, we'll catch up. But here's what it's like.
Okay, so we are in the paint house, and when we first walked in right here, I immediately, in this room, I was drawn to this room first, and I immediately got a sense of an older woman. I felt like she was dressed in maybe like, it kind of feels like black or dark colors, and I was like that high-necked Victorian kind of look. And I got the sense of maybe rocking. I felt like looking out the window, and I got a sense of doing something with her hands. I don't know if she's crocheting or she's darning or something like that. So, and I know nothing about this house, so we'll find out later any details, but that was my initial sense that here.
Okay, so that's as you come in the front door. And a lot of it, now listen, let's be honest, in an old place, you can apply a lot of that things. There's an
Right.
older woman here. I understand that, but these are just impressions. And then later on, we got into more specifics. Like, is this true? Does this make sense? And so forth and so on. Because at this point, I'm not saying much. Melissa's doing her thing. Cheryl is recording it.
I love watching her reactions when she walks into a place because I know a little bit of the history. So
Yep.
it's fun to record.
It was different for me because obviously it's the first time that I've spent any time with either one of you that wasn't on a computer screen.
Right.
I know we can be a lot.
Sure. But the looking out the windows and things like that, I can fill in blanks on things like that if they're specific, because everybody looks out windows, you know what I mean? But there is something that's a little bit different about this particular place. So why don't I continue with that? Because that was a short clip, a little bit longer. This is, again, Melissa's walkthrough. That was the front door that you enter, and this is the next room.
This room had, I got energy, but I didn't get anything super specific here. And as you know, I don't get something in every single place that I go to, like somebody will know. But I kept hearing footsteps over here, and I felt drawn to this area. Okay, the energy shifted as soon as I stepped into this room. Oh, wow. There's kind of I want to say I get a childish energy. And I don't mean childish in a bad way, but funny, prankster, trickery. Does stuff get moved here? Do you know?
How so moved?
Like something is over here and then later on it's someplace else, or
Like an A-port?
yeah.
Not necessarily from this room, but it's not uncommon in the time we've been here.
Okay.
Sure, we've seen that.
Okay.
A lot of the things that are in here sometimes are relatively new because people constantly make, donations and stuff.
okay.
So those, I don't remember those, for example.
Interesting. I get this sense of someone that likes to I get a sense that someone likes to move this thing. I get a sense that I don't know, I just get a sense of little hands everywhere futzing with stuff.
And it wasn't my hands this time.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, pick it up from there. I'll fill in some gaps for you, but looking back on it, I could sit here all night and say yes and no. But we were talking about A-ports, things that appear in one room end up in another. When I say that it's not unheard of in this house, please understand we were there for 11 years. Hundreds of nights, hundreds of hours that we spent there. And yes, there has been some of that, especially when you move into the next room. So I'm keeping quiet unless, there's a question I can answer that I won't answer directly because, I'm playing games with them. I like that I don't get something everywhere like a lot of other psychics do. Ooh, shots fired by Melissa.
It just tumbled out.
Oh, throwing shade. But I don't think we disagree. Um, Childish things in there and in the front parlor. No, there hasn't been a lot. You're absolutely right. There hasn't been a lot in there. I mean, the thing is, people were waked in there when they passed away, but that's what happened in colonial homes. You have a lot of graveyards and cemeteries and funeral parlors. So, as far as the footsteps from there, that is a constant thing. If you're in the parlor, we're always looking, always looking, always looking there. And
We heard that when we first got there too.
that's anybody and everybody
Hmm.
that goes in there who sits on that called the Andrew Borden style couch. Always to their right, there's something, and then we go in there. As far as child spirits, yeah, in that particular room for a lot of different reasons, whether it was newborn babies or sometimes children who sadly died at a very young age. Um, it's a significant room in that regard, And these are things I'm sharing with you now because we had to do a show,
Yeah.
so I didn't get a chance to say any of this stuff, whether I agree or disagree. So we'll take that time now. So we were doing, at 8 o'clock I had to say goodbye. So I gave them the keys to the kingdom, George, and off they went. So this is probably the only real significant time I spent with them. What else did you kind of feel? Yeah, you're on the first floor in that particular area. I mean, whether it was you, Melissa, or you, Cheryl, I'm interested in the vibes.
I mean, when I walked in, you heard me say, whoa, because I literally felt a shift in there. And I was thinking, of course, it could very well be that the ceilings are getting lower. Maybe I'm feeling a little bit more claustrophobic. So, maybe
Sure.
that's making me react. But I mean, it's such an active house, and we did hear footsteps while we were getting the equipment set up. So, you know, just kind of waiting to see what was going to happen. But I absolutely felt that kind of a bit of a heavy feeling.
But I'm keeping an eye on chat. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of our town hall regulars that are in there, and they were with us when we did a collective consciousness remote view to the Pain House. And I'm curious to see whether or not they are picking up on what you picked up on. We're experiencing through that remote viewing those same kinds of energies. It's different to be physically in a location, but I think that it's a lot of it echoes what they were experiencing also. But question for Ken, real quick, before you guys continue on, that room where she was sensing a childish or childlike energy in there and things may have shifted around, and you're claiming that there's not really much from that perspective, that was not an active room. Is that a room perhaps then that when other activities happen in the other rooms, it's to draw people from that room, Ken? It's almost like this is hallowed ground area. We don't mess around in here. The other rooms are open to you guys doing this, but in here we keep it tranquil.
As you move on to the house, because number one, that has a high ceiling there, and it's got a fireplace, so we'll assume that was always parlor. But it's not out of the realm of possibility that 200 years ago that wasn't a bedroom, because there were also fireplaces in bedrooms. So, I mean, unfortunately, we don't have a layout from 1730. We kind of, through Cody and Satori, have learned what the layout was 250 years ago as the occupants tell us. This was my bedroom, this was it. It's fascinating stuff. But as you move deeper into the house, we'll call that the middle room because there's one more to go. You start to get more into a social environment. This was a dining room. This was a gathering room. So you get a little bit more of that. The fact that you don't get that from that parlor, that first room, which is from the 1800s now, that was built on, because you can tell by the woodwork, you can tell by the flooring, you can tell by the height of the ceiling. So
Okay.
that very well could have been to accommodate travelers later in the existence of this house.
Okay, that makes sense.
That does
Yeah.
totally make sense.
You
Yeah.
know? But as you move deeper, the house gets more active.
Yep.
More and more active because it's more of a social environment, I think. This
And
is
it's
where
like you're
get
you're drawn to it too. You know, like I felt like when I first walked in the front door, I felt like I just wanted to bypass the first two rooms and go straight into that middle room and then the kitchen further on. It's like it was pulling me in.
right. Liz, nurses or nuns?
I'm like, not that I.
Maybe to one and probably not to two.
Yeah. I would say yes to the nurse and no to the nuns.
Yeah,
Oh, you think
Yeah.
in the war room, maybe the nurse, a
Yeah.
nurse. Yeah.
because
Definitely.
there could have been midwives, or I mean, your home was a hospital for all intents and purposes back then. And if you were lucky enough where a doctor was coming through town, and we'll get into that too, and this is where they would treat you. This place, and we'll get into this, also had, hey, Jackie.
Yeah, we broke her computer already.
Sorry. I tend to break technical things because the spirits, I don't know, whenever I'm on any of these types of things, spirits always fly through and mess with stuff. It happens in all of my classes. It happens in readings. It's hilarious.
It's happening more often to me now too, for some reason.
Right.
Tonight.
Well,
You were
Now,
such a
an
bad
interesting-
influence.
An interesting thing is we make our way into the next room, and there is no question in my mind from our experience, this is the most active room in that house. This is where a lot of the clips that we've played over the years that we've done this show, as they come to us right up until the day we decided to move away from it. This is the place of EVPs. This is the place of disembodied voices. This is the place of apparitions. This is the place of footsteps up above you. This is the place of interaction with technology. We call it the kitchen. You know, you could also say dining room, but this is Melissa's walkthrough, a little bit longer, but this is her vibes, and we'll call it the kitchen for lack of another term.
I don't think I got that on camera, but I was getting children running back and forth and back and forth.
You'll find I get taller in each room.
Oh yeah, look at that! Wow, I can never touch
I
the ceiling.
love this house. Can I just say that right now? If I'm getting taller in every room, I'm like, I want to live here.
I think I'm just going to sit.
All of a sudden,
Avoid concussions.
all of a sudden, I'm getting a man. I feel like I'm getting some kind of a smoke, but I don't know, is it cigar or pipe smoke, or if it's smoke from something else, but I'm getting a sense of smoke. But not in real life, like phantom scent.
You can take that string
I can
down.
take that? Okay.
Sure. You
I-
go right in there.
I got, like, I heard giggling or some kind of vocalization.
Okay.
I just got a hi. Hello.
Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, mirror. That's why.
So, just in case, dear, my name is Cheryl.
Oh, yeah.
We just want to come and hang out with you guys tonight.
I forgot to do that. My name is Melissa. Hello, spirits. We come in peace. We just want to say hello. Oh, I just got a ringing in my left ear. somebody's yammering away in here, so this might be a good place to do EVP later.
Okay.
That's a dream come true home because everybody looks like they're 5'11" or taller.
I love it.
Fun fact. It wasn't so much that everybody was shorter back then, but the low ceilings were built to contain heat back then. Hot air rising, you don't want it to rise too far.
Right.
So there was some practicality, maybe not for me.
And boy, was there a lot of hot air in there that night.
Hey, 1:20 in. Cheryl, I want you to listen and tell me if
I
you
thought it
don't
was Sandy.
if you don't hear a small voice at 1:20 just before
I thought it was
Melissa-
Sandy, and when I just watched it, I was like, her mouth didn't move.
just before Melissa says, I just got a hello in my ear.
Yes. Yep. That's the only thing about replay I wish we had was to be able to drag or click back and play a particular segment. Get on that.
Oh, it's at the very beginning. We can't play just the beginning.
Well, the good news is it's in the archive. So that is the most social room. As far as the smoke and everything, again, pipes, cigars, rolled cigarettes, especially, they're exceptionally pungent. So, I mean, some of this, I don't pick it up there, but certainly can be in the walls on hot days, but we've never really picked it up. From a social aspect, did I oversell that room in terms of being like always active? Like this is where people gathered?
We got stuck there. We got stuck there, and we were having so much fun and so much interaction that we just stayed.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time in that room, way more than I think we intended. We wanted to do the whole house, but we kept getting stuck in certain little areas because there was so much interaction. And that was the room.
Yeah, we couldn't want to leave.
We didn't want to leave, and we had a bunch of REM pods and miscellaneous other gadgets set up all over the place, and they kept making them go off to the point where we were like, is it broken? Is it not functioning properly? Should we turn it off and turn it on again? And no matter what we would do to try to even turn the settings down, they would continue to go off. And then the coolest thing, because this has never happened to me before. I'm sure this has happened to other investigators, but not to me. When we told them to back off of the device because it was going off too much, they immediately did. Immediately.
And I've got some clips put together from that.
It was crazy.
I don't want to ask a bit. Go ahead, George.
I said that's the same room, Ken. Correct me if I'm wrong, that we did the collective consciousness with the visiting investigators. Right. Cody recorded that. Well, he didn't record that part of it, but he commented on it and started doing the same thing. And we connected with the mother and daughter, the husband and wife basically were conduits for the mother and daughter, and they shared the experience of working in the garden on the property. So that was a really incredible experience. And that particular area of the house seems to be I don't know, a portal, whatever you want to consider it to be, but it's certainly a hub of the activity.
Right. Is that the first place that you two went to and set up?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Did I tell you that should be the first place that you should go to and set up?
No.
So what made you think that this is a good place to introduce ourselves?
Women's intuition.
Well, that, and I mean, just hearing that little kid or whatever that voice was in that other room, I was like, I want to talk to whoever this is, because it's so rare to hear something so loudly. You know what I mean? I get stuff inside my head. We get stuff on the EVPs, but to actually walk into a room and just hear with your naked ear a voice is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I'm going to have to watch the video again, because I didn't realize the video picked it up. But
I didn't either.
It's crazy to me. But also I felt, and I was going to say this before and I forgot, this, since from the moment we walked into those front doors going all the way around back, I felt watched. I felt And I felt like it was that initial woman that I had experienced when we first walked in. I felt like I was being watched. I felt like I was being judged, but I don't want to say that in a bad way. I don't mean judged in a bad way. It was more like, are you like, do I want you here? Are you cool? Are you okay? Or, you know what I mean? It was like I was being
Monitored.
Yeah, it's like being watched by the homeowner. I mean, they were just making sure we weren't like moving too much stuff or causing any problems or
bad energy or whatever.
Yes.
Well, I mean, I've kept an eye on this over the years, is that seems to be the first area where everybody goes on their own, because I rarely anymore, when there were bigger crowds, we had to separate. You're going to be here, you're going to be there. As we kind of whittled that down to 6 or 8 people, that's manageable for everybody to go everywhere. Just be respectful of everybody else's position. But everybody seems to go to that room first. It's almost as if it's like, yes, we're going to start here, that you're almost picking up. This is the place to introduce ourselves. This would be the place that everybody hung out in and had meals, shot the breeze, talked politics. This is the best room to introduce yourself. I have never said that to anybody, like, you need to start here because of this reason, to get to know everybody. But it seems though everybody gravitates there, and don't misunderstand me, there's tables, there's a lot of chairs there. It's a comfortable place where everybody can sit.
Yeah.
But in telling the stories, it's like, oh my God, somebody saw an apparition here and they were touched there, and immediately it's like, well, I'm going to go there. But that doesn't seem to be the case in this place. That room seems to be where everybody, like, let's set up here.
That's interesting. I also felt like there was another little room to the side. Like, I think maybe there was a sink in there. It's almost like a little pantry or something with a window. And I also felt like I saw someone in there, and I got some kind of a vibe in there. So it was just interesting. It's like, it's clear. I feel like even if you're not, I don't think you even have to be a psychic or medium to be drawn to that room. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's so clearly active.
Well, the one thing I did say, when you said you're getting a woman in this room and she's doing something, that was the initial claim from a staff member that got us in there 12 years ago. Because somebody had seen a woman in that little kitchen area with the sinks and the pots and pans, and she was doing something, but there was no sound of her doing something, dishes, pans, water running, nothing. It was just silent, but she was going about something. And that was the initial claim that made them get on the computer, send me an email, and ask if we'd like to look into this.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
And actually, I did not put this clip. I did not include this clip, but she did go into that kitchen area, and she was like busying herself. Melissa, she was like, I feel like, somebody's doing this. And I was like, we didn't go in there. So I left that part out, I think.
Yeah, no, I remember her going in there and just like reaching for things like she was a target or something.
But I'm like, we have so much video. This place is insane.
And grabbing nothing.
Yeah.
Ken, before you continue, and we've got about 9 minutes till break. Cheryl wanted to know whether or not she could send you the shortened clip on your Facebook. What's the best way for her to get it to you, sir, quickest?
A clip, probably send it via my email.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna take that because it was on my cell phone that I took those videos. So I'm just gonna shorten it down and I'll send it to you.
If it's a little bit too big, over 25 MBs, then it's not going to go through Messenger. You got to use WeTransfer. So just see what size it is.
Got it. I'll do it on the break.
All right, cool. So if we got about 10 minutes left, let's continue with our walkthrough, because the stories, it's not about our time there. The stories that we've told over the years, dozens and dozens of things in that room. But let's move on here with the next area.
And then I also got banjo, which I know those are 2 different things, but I was getting both of those.
Does this piano ever play? Does this piano ever play?
I'm sure it did at one point, which has always been a mystery to us, but that's another story.
Do you get knocking in this room? I'm getting a lot of the sensations of knocking.
Oh.
Yeah? Okay. I'm getting a lot of like I know we're not hearing it physically now, but I'm getting like the phantom knocking in my head in this room. From everywhere, from every direction, not like just one spot, but from everywhere.
That is not a Dybbuk box over there, by the way. As much as it looks like one.
We could make it one.
Easily.
Oh, here's the instrument. That was just knocking, but that was just got moved.
It's like, don't do that. I'm from California.
It was definitely rocking.
No, I think when you touched it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
That could be our knocking too.
Yeah, that could be the phantom knocking noise. But I was hearing it from everywhere. Like a whole bunch of different spirits wanting to talk and wanting to like say their name or something. I don't know.
If they were excited right now, I take it as I'm flattered, because it's been a while since we've been here. You would really have to know the relationship that's been built here.
Yeah.
Over the past 11 years, with literally dozens and dozens, maybe 100 visits.
Yeah, that is the former military room. They turned it into something else now, but that's a place where Cody, before meeting Satori, was in there with a group, doors closed to isolate themselves, and always someone coming up the stairs outside stops at the door, open the door, nobody there, nobody else in the house. Footsteps from above us, and right above us would be the place where you set up spirit boxes, and that would be the most populated area on the 3rd floor. So pretty spot on with the knocks, and dozens of other things, people going by and seeing people peeking out the window. These are residents that haven't even come in the house. They just stopped, tell me the story. They didn't even know each other. That, the shade or the blinds or the curtains, whatever they decide to put on. So it's one of the more under-investigated rooms there, and I don't know why, because I tell people that, not a lot of people spend a lot of time in this room, but here are some of the things that happen, but they move on to other places, and I don't know why.
Every room is so haunted. It's just so overwhelming. I need a week. I need a week at this place. Because I have much more investigation to do, that's for sure.
I'm again curious as you're walking around there, both of you, and I know Sandy Andrews was with you guys also, but coming from the West Coast, which is very much a metaphysical energy in general to begin with, whether you consider it something contributory to Native Americans, whatever the situation may be, the Latin American culture, but this has to be a different vibration when you're going into a place like this, whether it feels or seems, even though it wouldn't be more ancient, but it's got some sort of again, it's got its own separate individual vibration. Do you pick up those kind of differences between the two? You both do? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
She definitely does. But as far as for me too, I mean, I think vibrations said it perfectly, because I feel like when we're in places in California or whatever, the energy is really high. So it's almost like it's a higher vibration. It's active, and it's very exciting. But it almost seems like a lot of the stuff that we did on the East Coast felt like a lower vibration, like it was deeper, more rooted in the grounds rather than maybe even the buildings. So I don't know. I definitely got a lot of a deeper kind of a feeling as far as that, especially that house goes.
I also feel like East Coast spirits, just like East Coast people, tend to be more blunt and honest and kind of in your face with their energy, if that makes sense.
Hey Cheryl, is that clip? Did it go through in my messenger?
Yep. 13
All
seconds.
right, all right. Well, during the break, I'll upload it and we'll go over that.
Okay.
All right, George, what do we got? How much time we have here?
We've got exactly 7 minutes. 7 minutes.
All right, let's go on to the next place. This would be the military room. This was an interesting time in this particular place. So check it out.
On my right, the back of my right upper arm, I got touched.
So did it feel like a drag or
No,
just
it
a?
felt like that, but not hard, gentle, just a gentle, yeah, like a yeah.
Okay, well, don't worry. We're gonna be here for a while, and we can play and do whatever you want.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. You want me to give them a print? Oh wow. The stuff in here has other energy that's not necessarily tied to the house. Does that make sense? Oh wow. Okay. I'm getting wow. What?
You okay?
Yeah, it's just a lot. Oof. Do you know if there's something in here from Gettysburg?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Okay, I just for a hot second, I was not here.
Most of what you see in here is Civil War.
Okay, that would make sense.
Almost exclusively.
I was in it, when I bent over, it was because I wasn't here for a split second. I was in a big, big field, and now I'm getting a lot of buzzing. I was in a big, big field. There was a ridge. There was booming sounds. There were bodies everywhere. There was blood. And whoever I was in that was showing it to me, their ears were ringing really, really, really loudly, like something had gone off.
Our artillery people, I mean, they didn't have earplugs
There's an
back
incredible
then.
conflict about this room, and I'll tell you about it later. There's like an incredible conflict,
Really?
conflicting emotions
Okay.
with this room. Yeah, I mean, Rhode Island militia. It's like some of the artifacts in here really belong in the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
You know, they truly do.
Yeah.
But they had them donated here, and here they live.
I just noticed I had the same hat on, but I digress. This
Oh, I
is
never would've
called. This is called Ken is being a jerk to the psychic. Because she said,
Withholding information.
is there anything from Gettysburg in here? And I said, possibly. I don't know. You tell me. You know, for all those who think I play along, you know, it's like, I don't know. You tell me. I later went on to tell him that things date back from the Revolutionary War to the War of 1812, and maybe some more modern things. Maybe when we come back, I'll share with everybody the conflict that I'm referring to there, because we talked about it on site. How that room spiritually is very conflicting in that particular home. But I think you have to be mindful now. This is a place where there's not a lot of stuff that's native to the house, right? We've talked about there's a lot of donations, and they're wonderful donations. But with these things from other places may possibly come an attachment or a certain energy that not is necessarily related to the people who shared this home, who owned it or lived there.
Yeah. And it was weird walking into that room. It was almost like I was not in the house anymore. Do you know what I mean? It was like, I felt like I was completely transported. Everything in that space felt very jarring. And the rest of the house didn't feel jarring. You know, the rest of the house felt
Right.
settled, comfortable, normal. And that room was like jagged.
It's very absolute chaotic energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Conflict. It's conflict you're picking up on there, and as opposed to social conflict or family conflict. This was literal conflict and pain and anguish. And Ken, how much of what was in there were remakes as far as the equipment, or was everything in there authentic? As you said, we're supposed to be in the museum, the
Yeah,
Smithsonian.
to my knowledge, there's not a darn thing in there. There are no plastic swords or
Nothing duplicated.
knockoff weapons or anything like that. The guns you saw on the wall are real. The swords that are in the case, they're real. All the archives that are kept in there are real. There is a Civil War area field medicine kit in there,
Ugh,
Wow.
it looks like a toolbox.
which is something that I don't. No, it doesn't bother me, but my mind tends to go other places when I see it because I always pointed it out to you guys.
Yeah.
I said, you got to come see this. Can you imagine? This was used for bullet extraction, amputations.
It had a saw in it.
Yeah,
That's why I was like, it looked like a toolbox, a literal toolbox, not a medical kit.
It was
Yeah,
very
it
comfortable.
did. It did. And you might say, which of these is not like the other? Because I understand the house is a time capsule. And I guess there was so much that was sent from various wars, various conflicts, that you don't want to turn it down.
Right.
So there was enough there that I suppose they said we just have to create a room for this. But again, there's a lot of spiritual conflict going on. The fact that these things are included in this home, and when we get there, we'll talk about it.
And when we get back on the other side of the break, also, I want to ask you whether that psychometry came to play during your guys' visit there as well. But we are at the top of the hour, guys. We're going to take our quick 3-minute break. When we come back on the other side, we'll continue the explorations with Cheryl Plumb and Melissa St. Hilaire in the New England area, not just the Pain House. We'll continue right after the break. You're watching Dead or Live on the Dead or Full Spectrum channel. Stay right with us.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
As UFO reports come in from around the world, the Mutual UFO Network, MUFON, is there. We continue to explore new cases and build our massive database. We share our information with the world in a number of ways. If you would like to be part of our investigative team, you are always welcome. What could be more exciting than exploring the UFO question firsthand? Join MUFON, find your friends.
You're listening to the KGRA Digital Broadcasting Network. We provide unparalleled coverage of trending news in the world of ufology, cryptozoology, and paranormal phenomenon. Whether you're watching our video live stream or listening to one of our audio programs, you are getting the best from world-renowned researchers and hosts, guiding you through topics the mainstream won't touch. Miss one of your favorite programs? No problem. Head over to the members area at kgradb.com for access to our massive library of award-winning content. Make contact, stay connected, only at kgradb.com.
All right, guys, welcome back to our show, the second hour, with a very special guest tonight, Cheryl Plumb, Melissa St. Hilaire. Don't forget, tomorrow night is our Patreon Town Hall, begins at 8 p.m. Again, you want to check out the membership. It's Dead Air Paranormal on Patreon, $3 membership. And as Ken spoke of beginning of the show, a lot of things to talk about tomorrow that we normally just do it exclusively for our members. Because we don't want to rock the boat here live on YouTube. I want to show you guys something real quick. Nothing to do with the paranormal, but this YouTube channel just went up. I don't know how they've been doing this. I don't know if it is AI. But I'm blown away by this, and I wanted you guys to check this out. Um, It's somebody who came up with a trailer park version of some of your favorite films and series. And this is just one of them. Demon Flying Fox did a trailer park version of Game of Thrones. They did a trailer park version of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Jurassic Park, my favorite, Breaking Bad, genius, and they have a song that goes along with it that, of course, I don't want to play on here for copyright infringement, but absolutely brilliant concept. So Demon Flying Fox, you guys got to make sure you check it out because it is very well done. And again, you look at it and you wonder if it's AI or these are just actresses, but just ingenious what they come up with nowadays. So,
oh yeah,
just thought I'd present that to you. It's very, very fascinating. It's I love it. Anyway, I digress.
No, you don't digress. It's just we're looking into the future here. You and I will eventually be AI characters, and we could just like pretty much stay home here.
Yes, of course.
I did want to make one announcement really quick, and you'll hear more about this, but it's a good place to start. We have a special edition of Dead Air that's coming this Tuesday.
Ooh.
At 8 p.m. on the Dead Air Full Spectrum channel.
Right here on
and
YouTube.
We are going to be putting this out there. We're going to heavily promote that. But next Tuesday, it's game night. We have the two shows on Dead Air who are challenging each other for the coveted title of Dead Air Game Masters. Carrie and Erin from Well, That Was Weird versus Cody and Satori from Live with Cody and Satori. So that's next Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, as they ruthlessly vie for that coveted title of Game Master.
Yeah. 2 days from now, our Halloween special. So make sure you guys check it out.
Yep.
Very nice. Okay, so you guys didn't have any events or any activity whatsoever.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
We just took
All right,
naps.
good night, everyone.
So
And that was the show.
let me begin where we ended off in the first hour. I wanted to talk about psychometry for a second, because when you're talking about some of these items that were there that, as Ken put it, should have been in the Smithsonian, including that medical bag, do you even take that leap of faith and try something like that? And for those who don't know what psychometry is, physical contact. You're actually touching certain items to get the story, if you will, of what is involved with that, its history. But anything like that go on with you guys?
I didn't really touch anything, and it's weird because psychometry is one of the weird things that I can do. But first of all, a lot of stuff in that room is behind glass, so you can't really touch it. I don't know if we could have gotten in there, but also everything. How do I put this? Everything in that room was so loud. I didn't want to touch anything. Like I was afraid, like if I touched, I would get images in my mind that would not let me sleep at night.
Didn't I hand one of you a gun?
No,
No.
but I can't say.
Just
Let I hand
can
you one of
he?
you,
He does it
like
so
that.
often he can't
Tastes like
remember.
Yeah. But no, we did not try to do any kind of psychometry. It's like if it's supposed to be in the Smithsonian, let's just leave it be. I don't want to put my own patina on it. Again, it's vibrating already by itself, so I don't even think we needed to do that.
Yeah.
Where's the
Well, the
adventure? Where's the
conflict.
risk?
Well, now I have to go back and do it.
Yes.
It's funny. The conflict that I speak of is the former resident of the house who we have been able to contact and talk through Cody and Satori's tapping method, Sarah Whipple Stone, has let us know that that was her former bedroom. She is upset that it's been dedicated in that particular manner. I mean, time goes on, things change, but that is a place that's her sanctuary. And the reason we know is because in another room, she actually led us to that. And, uh, the taps went right by me and I followed them. I was the first one out. And those of you who say that, oh, but listen to me, zoom in on me, I don't care. Okay. Because this happened. And she led us there, showed us where the bed was, went on to tell her what color the walls were, so, and the woodwork. So, a place, again, her sanctuary, where it was near and dear to her. So, that is the spiritual conflict in this place, that her room has been converted into an armory of sorts, with weapons of destruction. So, it's difficult, it's accepted, but like they were in another room and they got so many they had to move them into a bigger room. So there is still that emotion and those feelings toward conflict and battle, because a lot of people were lost in those conflicts, many of them from Rhode Island. And I'm not suggesting that any of their personal belongings are part of that collection, but that collection represents something. Like any military museum does, it represents, and triggers various emotions, mostly remembrance, tragedy, conflict, victory, loss, all of those things. So it's worth mentioning that no one's doing anything wrong by having them there, but it creates a different kind of emotion in someone who probably didn't like the idea that those conflicts were going on. I mean, who does, right? So
Exactly.
that's it.
Yeah, totally. And the thing about all those items, it's not that every single one of those items is haunted or every single one of those items has a sentient spirit attached to it. Oftentimes, and I'm sure you all know this, but oftentimes when you're dealing with psychometry, it's that the item itself retains some energetic thumbprint of what had transpired earlier. So you're not necessarily going to get like, oh, I'm going to pick up this gun and I can, talk to the person who held it once. It's more, you get this impression of everything that gun experienced during that time, particularly traumatic experiences, I would say.
Mhm. Well, I
Yeah.
think trauma is a common denominator here, regardless of what coast you're on. Because if you're going back to early settlers, I mean, here they came first, made their way across the Midwest. We know that they settled in the West, and it was, they don't call it the Wild Wild West for nothing.
True.
But when you're talking 1700s, 1800s, regardless, I mean, it was just normal life to them, but the amount of trauma and difficulty, whether it was growing crops, whether it was battles with indigenous people, whether it was was, lawlessness, whatever it was. All of those things are in common, regardless of what part of the country you're in. I mean, we could likely not survive in those times where I'm not saying they took it in stride, but it was just a way of life. So those things tend to exist in the ether and linger,
Totally.
in places that are 200, 220, 230 years old. That's just the way it is.
In fact, and it just totally kind of related to this, but unrelated to the house. A couple of years ago, I was taking a drive through. I don't know. So we were somewhere in California. We were just out on gallivanting, and we cut through this one particular road. And as we were going, there was like nothing around for the longest time. There was no water, no real life around. And for a brief moment, I saw myself in one of those old wagons, and I could feel like that it was I've never been in one of those old, when the settlers went across the country. I've never been in one of those wagons before, but I'm assuming they're very bouncy and uncomfortable, because that's what I suddenly started to feel. And I can't even remember who I was with. I don't know if I was with you during this. And I was like, did the settlers used to come through this way? Because I am feeling them right now. And come to find out later on, yes, that was a route that the settlers took. And it wasn't like that.
Wheels. Yep.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I saw a ghost or anything. It's just it's that energy. It's still there. It's still in the ground, And all I could imagine was, how in the heck did our ancestors make it out this way? There's nothing to eat. There's no water.
They're badasses.
Right. It's crazy.
Would you like that to see that clip that Cheryl just sent me? Why not? Why not? We've got one more room to walk through, but Cheryl,
what it says.
What does this go back to again? Remind me.
Yeah, which clip is this?
This is the walkthrough where we just come into the little dining area, and you heard the voice. That little 15-second clip, that's cool. Where you heard the voice. So I think it said something about smoke something. So let's see what they say.
Now, I didn't have a chance to go over this, amp it, so whatever the volume is what it is. Okay, here we go.
I don't know, is it cigar or pipe smoke, or if it's smoke from something else? But I'm getting a sense of smoke.
It's something smell that.
Or smoke that, like
something.
Can I smoke that? Can I smell?
I got a different one at a different time, just before she said something just spoke in my ear. If we have time, maybe we'll go back we'll listen to those minute and 20 seconds there, but I didn't notice it when I was putting it up there, but I certainly did hear, and I think George mentioned it too, right before she says it's like something just spoke in my ear. I'm hearing,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is what we do here, folks. We're live. You know what I mean?
We're finding out evidence there.
Yeah,
wow.
And this is the collective consciousness. This is part of our intro actually, but that is the table, and then you'll see there from the left to the right the husband and wife that connected to the mother and the daughter.
Oh,
cool.
Neat.
Yeah, really interesting.
I have to go back to that house.
Yeah, because I'm like, we haven't even gotten into the meat and potatoes. It was crazy active, and I mean, just in that one room, I sent you 3 videos. Like,
right. Do we have any of the REM pods going on and off? Because that was
I have an EMF REM compilation. If we want to start with that guy, that's probably going to touch on.
Sure. Let me see.
How the whole night started.
You labeled these. I've got Painhouse Investigation EVP. Whether or not this is Clara. Another one with EMF, or is this so this is not the attic section.
No.
Okay,
Right.
so the EMF one.
And
Yeah.
do me a favor, real quick, Cheryl, again, for any newbies out there, and I know this is like going back to the old shows describing what these particular pieces of equipment are, but what is the EMF meter? What does it do?
Well, the EMF detectors, it has an electromagnetic field around it. Oh no, that's the REM pod. The EMF, it senses the electromagnetic fields. So I have different pieces of equipment. I've got the tripwire that's got a bunch of small detectors on it, and those all go off independently, plus a tower, and then the stock EMF detector. So yeah, anytime the energy fluxes, it'll go up higher, high, depending on how strong it is. So we were getting flashes. So it was like all of a sudden, like you would feel the energy shift. You could physically feel it. I would get goosebumps, and you could feel the energy, like the whole vibration in the room jump.
Yeah, and it's not like a house, or the Glen Tavern Inn where that there are routers and Wi-Fi and there's stuff around that could be setting stuff off. This is an old house with none of that stuff in it, so it makes it even more fascinating.
No Wi-Fi. No
Yeah.
Wi-Fi there, which is I was holding my breath when we were doing that show, George. It's just, boy, hope I got reception here. And then first thing George says, "You look better on your phone than you do on camera."
Oh no!
It's Fro-Yo, all right.
Just
Rude.
being honest. Just
So
saying.
rude.
It's the best policy. All right, so let's see this clip. It's about 3 minutes long. This is the EMF session. So here we go.
Hey, sweetheart, just to make sure that there's not a problem with that REM pod, can you just stop it from going off real quick? Just leave it alone for just a second. Can you touch something else first? Thank you. Okay, now step away just for a second. I know you like it. Thank you. I just want to make sure that there's nothing wrong with our equipment. Okay? Do you see the little eye sitting closest to me? Yeah, if you walk around the table, I'm getting very cold.
Yeah, I got cold all of a sudden.
Can you touch the little doodad that's right next to me with the little eye on it? Touch the little doodad on there.
Freezing now.
It's really cool because that has lights on it too. I saw one go off. You can get a little bit closer. Can you do that for me?
I know. I think that's Sarah, who's just hanging out right there.
Oh yeah, she's just chilling right there.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah, can you turn that off for a second? Thank you.
Yeah, that's very nice. It's very nice that it's actually doing it every single time you ask it.
Yeah. Just having fun.
I know, right?
Okay, so
Right.
Sarah and Clara and any other spirits that are present, we are going to do a little voice recording. So we're going to record your voice. And so if you have anything that you want to actually say to us, if we can't hear it with our human ears, hopefully we can pick it up with these devices. And in order to do this really well, we should probably, So let's go ahead and turn the REM pod off.
And let's be very quiet. Thank you. But we've got stuff all the way around your table. Yeah, you can touch any of that.
I like when you light up that tall one. It's got pretty colors in it. You like that tall one?
Yeah. Oh, wow, that's That was
You got almost all the colors.
That was really neat because we didn't see all those before. Can you do it again? That was so pretty. Yay! Good job. Wow. That was a very good girl. Mm-hmm. Where are you right now, sweetheart? All right, she's not there. Good job.
So I mean, literally, is like, why does it go off forever? And then we're like, hey, can you like stop for a second? It's like multiple times.
It was
She
awesome.
listened so well. I think because we asked so nicely.
And we were having fun, and they were having fun. You know, it was good, positive energy. I feel like, you know.
I think they've had practice, poor people. We've put them through a lot of that along with guests over the years. But this is, so we're clear. I was doing the show. This is kind of the first time that I'm seeing this too. I wasn't a part of their investigation. But just a quick comment and why this room is good in the way they did it. Every piece of equipment is in the center of the room, away from the walls, and it's shielded by the legs of the table and elevated. You want to put your equipment in the middle of the room, and that at least cuts down on possible man-made interference. And they can tell you, we were struggling to find lights. I know you see a couple of lights in there.
Yeah.
But it's a struggle to find outlets and plugs, and it's really at a bare minimum for what they might need for events there. That's about it. So I'm seeing this for the first time myself.
And it's so cool because, like I said, we've got different types of EMF detectors around, the tripwire, the tower. And it seemed like those flashes, everything was happening all at once. It's like, oh, touch that, thing in the back. And like, it would all flash all at once, and they're not connected. So, it was just so fun. It was so fun to play. And I think that's why we got so much interaction, because we were just having fun with it.
At that point, did you start to get a better handle on the temperament of the residents there and, their general character?
But I think we were kind of intuitive, the way that we approached it from the beginning, because it was like the first part of the clip, we literally had just set the stuff up. We were just kind of sitting down, getting settled. And I walked in and I was like, hey, let's not get too excited. Can we turn it off and just make sure it's not a problem with the equipment? And I think it just, we just set the precedent early that it's like, do what you want, we'll respect you. And, we just want to chat.
And there was a too.
Go ahead, Melissa.
I was just going to say, and there was such a playful energy there, and I felt so strongly that we were dealing with a child, because it was kind of this happy, like, oh, look at these cool girls here, come to play with me, and look at all these colors, and this is so fun, and like, and then that made me feel like a kid inside, and then it was, it was just such a positive experience.
Yeah, because it was literally just me, Melissa, and Sandy, and we were all just, very excited. Anytime you heard us, anytime somebody, oh yay, good job, you're such a good girl, and
Well, it was good that you were away, sitting on the perimeter of the room. That's another plus. As far as my position doing a show, I was 4 rooms and about 6 walls away from where you are. So, there's nothing we were doing that was interfering with anything.
Yeah.
So, in a summation of your experiences there, nothing dark, foreboding, demonic, evil, as far as any kind of presence there.
No. Only me when I'm angry. No, nothing bad there at all.
And I'm tempted, Ken, to open up that can of worms, but I'm not going to. But there are those currently that would counter that argument. And
right, no, we were playing all night. It was play. It was positive. It was, nothing negative at all. Super fun.
Yeah, nothing.
And I'm glad Sandy was there with us. Yay!
Yeah, there was nothing there. I mean, there, like in the war room or whatever, there's some heaviness and stuff like that, but that's normal, for
Yeah.
for those items. Nothing felt demonic. Nothing felt, and honestly, I very rarely just,
Yeah, I've had FU many, 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 many times, and I've
But
never
nothing
felt like,
oppressive, nothing oppressive,
mm-mm,
or yeah,
no.
that's the reason why when we did the remote viewing, we picked this spot. I had been there. Ken's been there again, as he said, myriad times, and nothing like that was ever.
But again, I think you get a lot of what you give.
True. And sometimes people are walking around with their own little attachments that they could be bringing to a location.
Sure.
Which, after hearing the smoke comment, that it might be from this house.
Oh,
I think I think it speaks
don't
to
know.
if you just pump the brakes and slow it down a little.
Yeah,
We
you need to pay
wouldn't
attention and listen.
cause and effect. We wouldn't have been there for 11 years doing our own research and investigations and public events if the place wasn't active. Obviously, there's nothing there. I mean, So why is the place so active? Well, you have to go back to the approach that's been taken. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you're approaching it with like respect and you're getting enough responses and activity to keep you there for 11 years, because we're not making any money. Anything that comes in goes back to the house. So there's got to be a reason that it's as active as it is. So if it's the approach that we're taking, good for us. But why you would want to deviate from that just to be sensationalizing it, and
Right. No.
if you just think about it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No.
Just stay on that path and you'll be rewarded, right?
Absolutely. To me, the biggest sin a person can commit in the paranormal world is lying, is falsifying something. You know what I mean? And it kind of like, what's the point of that? For me, the point of doing any of this stuff is, one, to help lost souls, because that's the witch blood in me, but also to find actual evidence, to have recordings of the fact that there is the afterlife, that there's something there, that there's energy there. And I feel like if you come at it with these pure intentions, then you're going to have a good time. You know what I mean? It's gonna all come together. The spirits are going to be psyched that they're there. I feel like, particularly in that house, the spirits that are there are really very aware of the intentions of the people who come in.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And I feel, at one point I had mentioned that I felt like the main woman that I kept feeling, I felt like she would kick you out of there if you were causing problems.
Yep.
Yeah, they have a way of letting us know when they're not happy with something. And they've done that. We've asked them directly, whether it's the way the house is set up. Sarah Whipple does not like her bedroom turned into a military ammo dump. So I don't want to, really go into that a lot, because we've left under very good terms. We just wanted to have a little more latitude. So, but I would caution anybody not to buy into that. So, that's my statement on that.
I'm like, well, I mean, we've got proof of our conversations with the spirits in that house, so they could see for themselves how it went for us.
Totally.
Would you like to move on to the EVP clip now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Shirley, you guys, I'm looking at the thumbnail here. I think you're still in that room.
Yeah. Nope. We're still in that room.
Yeah, we're there.
So
there's another. Yeah, two more. There's 2 more clips from that room.
Okay, very good. Here's the second one.
We'll start with an easy one because they're obviously here.
Mm-hmm.
You ready?
Hold on, let me put this down, and I'm gonna hit record too.
So Sarah, I just had a question. Do you like that you have company at the house on occasion? And is there anything we can do for you tonight? Timer moved.
So Sarah, I just had a question. Do you like that you have company at the house on occasion? And is there anything we can do for you tonight?
Yep. Oh. Oh. I wonder if because they're over there. I'm like, one more time.
So Sarah, I just had a question. Do you like that you have company at the house on occasion? And is there anything we can do for you tonight?
So what I was hearing was in between was, I do. Do you like having people here on occasion? I do.
Okay.
I do. And it wasn't much louder in the actual, recordings of the EVPs. And then at the end, Melissa, didn't you hear? It wasn't necessarily just a yes, but there was more to it. It's just so low. But
Yeah.
I mean, definitely yes.
Yeah, they were. It was interesting because we've done a lot of EVPs in a lot of different places, and Cheryl, of course, is the EVP master. You have the best gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
In this particular house, we weren't getting as much in that way. It was a lot more with the EMF and things like that. So I don't know with your experience, Ken, with them there, but I just didn't get that they talked a lot, at least to a point where we can hear them or record them.
Yeah. We got another one upstairs, but that was pretty much it.
But they did have a lot to say, which was interesting to me because we had at one point we'd asked a question and we got a whole complete sentence, but we could not understand it at all.
Yeah, again, it's the most, in the past, it's the most social of all the rooms there. And as far as guests, family, travelers, whoever stayed there, it's one of those areas that this is where people would come and talk. This is where they were more comfortable, not in their bedrooms or private, but in, the common areas of a house, gathering room, kitchen. So we've pulled remarkable things out there, both ends of the spectrum, EVP and literal disembodied voices. I told you the yes story.
I think we got it.
The little girl, right?
Yeah.
And so both ends of that spectrum in there, I wish we could do it on cue, but that seems to be the place where we come away with more acknowledgement of us and responses that make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Not just what sounds like a yes or a no, but words, phrases, things like that. So you were in that hot spot.
Yeah.
For it.
And we got one more fun little interaction between Sandy and the spirits, asking if this was the mom or the daughter.
Okay, so we'll play that right now.
So if it's Sarah that was just set off all those lights on the floor, can you set off the circle thing that's on the side of the table? If it's Clara, could you set off the little circle, touch the little circle? Oh, so it's Clara right now.
Hi, Clara.
We're so glad you joined us.
I just got chills everywhere.
I'm recording the whole thing.
That was just set off all those lights on the floor. Can you set off the circle thing that's on the side of the table?
Yes.
If it's Clara, could you set off the little circle, touch the little circle?
Yes, I can.
It's Clara right now.
Yes, I can.
I've got goosebumps.
That was just set off all those lights on the floor. Can you set off the circle thing that's on the side of the table? It's Clara. Could you set off the little circle? Touch the little circle. Oh, so it's Clara right now.
That was a little kid, yes. I have chills from head to toe.
I do too.
I did, and I don't anymore.
Clara, do you
Clara.
realize that we literally just heard your own voice? Like,
We heard you,
your
Clara.
voice.
You're such a strong little girl. You're so powerful.
Like every time we played it back or we talked about it, like it would flash again. So it was like she was so excited that she got to, interact with us.
One other thing to mention there, they're not in a dark, spooky room, by the way. You know, they had the opportunity, and they took advantage of the opportunity to be in a dark room at some point, but it was always no light, full light, low light. You guys do whatever you want. So they had nothing to do with being in a creepy, spooky room. The lights are on.
Yeah.
So just an example that their setting that we've talked about, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, daytime, nighttime.
Yeah.
Pay attention. And I definitely got a yes, I can. Yes, I can. Like once I listened to it about 40 more times. It's so, it's so like, yes, I can. So.
Yeah, label those things up. Now, at that point, you're kind of leaving ground zero there. And you're moving up to what I think I've always said is the second least investigated room in that place, and that's the attic. And for good reason. You know, at one point it was very treacherous up there. They've since fixed that. So good on them. Now you can traverse the entire attic where all the shadow figures come from. And the second thing is, in practical reasons, in the summertime, it's pushing the mid-90s up in that attic. And
Sure is.
It's a difficult place to be. Likewise, in the winter, it's pretty intolerable. I mean, you guys nailed it just right. I think it was 60 degrees that night.
I brought the weather with me.
It was perfect.
Yep.
So up there, you broke out the spirit box, and this is a very long clip that I've got down to about 1:46, and just taking out those waiting a long time kind of parts. So they kind of fade in, and I'm hoping, Cheryl, that I captured the most important stuff here. So why don't we go ahead and play that for you? And you were nice enough to label this. We're not trying to, do an experiment here. It's like, what do you think this says? We haven't got that kind of time. Here's what we think it says. And that's pretty much it. So here's the attic session. So you can let us know in comments what y'all think.
Is there something you'd like to talk about, sweetheart? Time for bed? Did you catch that?
Yes.
Did you legit just say time for bed?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to tell us before you go to bed? Holy shit, I have goosebumps all the way on my arms. Oh my God. Did you have fun with us tonight? Hello. Hello. Please don't go to bed yet. I'm Cheryl. And I'm Sandy. Sandra. Do you remember Sandy? I guess we'll have to stay unless you say goodnight. That was good night. Stop. Yeah. Would you like us to go get Ken so he can say goodnight to you?
Somebody coming up the stairs?
What was that? Holy shit. What did it say?
That was so much fun. So I just want to say, when they say "here he comes," shortly after that, we heard steps coming up the stairs, and we thought it was Ken. So I go and I look out, and there's nobody there, and I'm like, "Oh, that's really weird." And we
But
go
they
back,
definitely said, "Here he comes," and footsteps.
and then shortly after that, then Ken did come up the stairs, but it was like they were showing us him coming up the stairs before he actually did. It was very bizarre and cool.
So at the very end, when I was playing back the EVP, I couldn't decide whether it said it's Ken or it's him.
In the moment, I remember thinking it's him, but that would be cool if it's Ken. They know him.
Because at that point, Ken was coming up the stairs. When we were playing it back, Ken did come up the stairs.
Yeah.
That
You guys told me about that.
Now,
that device
more-
was that an old shack hack?
No, that was a Panabox, which
Okay.
is the same era of the Panasonic DR60. They look exactly the same, but it's set up as a radio, modified into a spirit box, and it's fantastic. Now, if you guys didn't notice, there was a flare right in the middle.
Yes.
It affected the lights around the room. It affected the tower, and it affected the spirit box. You can hear it in the spirit box. And I never noticed that before. So we physically got it all over our bodies. That's why I was like, sorry about the holy shit.
We were like, ah!
Well,
I was like,
I would ask Ken if he could play that first part again. Don't have to play the whole thing, but that first part until the tower lights up, because I thought what I heard the spirit box say was, there's a spirit or here's a spirit right at that
All right.
moment.
George, I'll hit it, but can you cut it off from your end?
Got it.
Okay. Well, go ahead. You go ahead and play it, because I'm not sure when to cut it off.
All right, Attic Spirit Box Session, is that the one?
Correct.
All right, here we go.
Is there something you'd like to talk about, sweetheart? Time for bed? Did you catch that?
Yes.
Did you legit just say time for bed?
Yes.
Yes. Is there anything else you want to tell us before you go to bed? Hold.
Right there. And if any of you guys that are regular subscribers to the channel, you can go back somewhere on here. You'll be able to find the Spirit Box session that I did there at the Pain House, where you heard some of the creepiest voices, and one that sounded disembodied, saying, what was that? What was that? I mean, it's really a creepy sound. And that kind of was parallel to that. So I'm wondering whether or not that was something similar. But I don't know whether or not you guys could pick that up. You'll have to go back and listen to it again. Here's a spirit or there's a spirit.
okay. Yeah, because I mean, that like jolt of energy like filled the room. I've never felt anything like that in my life.
It was so strong. It was really cool. It didn't feel scary or bad or anything, though. You know what I mean?
No, but it's like I got goosebumps. Like everything flared. Even the spirit box, you could hear it. Like it sounded like there was a solar flare or something that just like, and it lit everything up.
It's the kind of place where, knowing what I know, it's almost as if they get such a kick out of our reaction when they do something we acknowledge. It's like, yes, they heard us. It's like, this is great. Look at them. They're all laughing,
Yeah.
Absolutely loving life.
Yep, they definitely had a good time with us.
I have one more clip here I'm going to play before we move on to a couple I have from the other location, because we want to cover that a little bit too. Okay. This is from a longer clip, but it's an example of a dowsing session, and you guys are back in what we call the military room. So this is just an example of that technique.
Hair doctor?
This
Yes.
just went to yes.
Yes.
Melissa asked about this.
Was ist das?
Is the item, is your item right in front of me? That's a yes.
Doctors' saddlebags, when they would come in and tell you about treating people, this is the saddlebag that he knows that there's nothing on the horse.
What war is that? How old is that?
Were you the medical doctor that used to visit?
He could be an immigrant.
Yeah, yes.
Could come here in the 1800s. It had
Were-
nothing to do with the war.
Right.
Were you here in the 1800s?
That's going to a big no.
1850?
That's also a no.
1860?
Reset. Yeah. 1860? Alright, let's try this. Were you here in the 1900s? Okay, that's a yes. That makes sense.
Earlier than 1920?
Were you here prior to 1920? That's a yes.
So between 1900 and 1920.
I'm just going to ask because I'm curious because this number came up earlier. Were you here in 1913? Earlier when we were here, I kept getting 1913. And I didn't
Okay, I
know
got the
why.
translate. I got the translate.
Okay.
Okay. Part of a much longer clip, but a little example of what we're going. So you guys can break it down exactly what was going on.
Right, and we were absolutely trying to figure out. There is Sandy was speaking German, and it was responding to us on the spirit box in German. So we were trying to, see how many different kind of ways we can get them to answer us. And we did kind of get answers as to it was a traveler. It wasn't somebody, somebody that just came to visit. And we kind of nailed down the time frame. Melissa, you want to touch base on that time frame and how old the person was? Because we got an age.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Did we get 42 or something like that? Is that what we got?
41.
41.
Right, Sandy? Because you said,
yeah.
And it repeated the number on the spirit box in German.
And then we got 1913 like 2 or 3 times. So the whole thing was really strange. And I was just playing with my dowsing rods. So like I love dowsing rods. I just want to say for anybody who's watching, like they're one of my favorite things to use. I know some people will use pendulums, and pendulums are great. I have a ton of those too. But there's something about dowsing rods where I feel like I can't. Like, especially if you lock your shoulder, lock your elbows down and stuff like that, and you can get yourself really still so that hi. And then, so let me see, are there any spirits with me in this room right now? Yes. So, it's like, to me, I'm sure there are magicians that could fake these things. I wouldn't even know how to do that. But to me, they just feel like a really easy, quick way to get simple yes/no answers to spirits that are in the house or wherever you are.
A couple of quick comments because this was post-show, so I was able to go up there.
Before
Sandy,
the comments, and just before the comments, I needed to announce to everybody that at 7 minutes till the top of the hour, we'll be losing KGRA. Bill has to move on to the next show. That's about 3 minutes away. And for those of you that may be listening on KGRA, if you want to stay with us, you just switch over to YouTube at Dead Air Nation, or go to YouTube and type in Dead Air Live Spectrum, and you'll be able to watch the continuation. So we're going to go a little bit over on our show tonight because we still have some more evidence and we don't want to rush it. So I'm sorry, Ken, interrupt.
Not at all. I knew we were getting tight here.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick now the show was over, so obviously I'm up there with them. And the object we're referring to that you couldn't see on screen is an old doctor's bag. And in this particular place, and it's not unique, doctors would visit pubs and inns and taverns because they had access to alcohol, right? You could use it for an anesthetic or you could use it for antiseptic reasons. So this is why a lot of times when a doctor would come into town before hospitals, these were the places that they went to. And they also had room, right? You know, lay someone down, whether it's on a bar or a table, or in this case, an inn. So there was a doctor's bag there, and it was kind of obscured a little bit, but this is what we were referring to that's what led to ask about doctors. So just for context.
And Sandy had a whole amazing conversation through the spirit box. So I put my little spirit box up there. That's the one that we used in that room. And I've used the spirit box many times. I have never heard German come through my spirit box, ever, ever, ever. And we're sitting up there, and Sandy can speak German. And she starts asking questions because she had an experience there before. I wish you were on here right now so you could share this. But she had an experience there before where she spoke to someone in German. So we were like, let's try it again and see what happens. And you could totally hear the German coming out of the spirit box. It just blew my mind. And that's the thing about doing this type of stuff is like, it's like I'm constantly excited because there's always something new or weird or cool or different happening, you know, but to hear like, Cheryl, do you remember what words we heard? I think we heard.
It was counting. It was saying yes and no, right? So that was.
There was numbers. There was
ja and nine, and then I'm going from the English to German now. Okay, one of my favorite tools now in investigations is like Google Translate because we were able to ask if they were a guest or whatever it was. So that's why I was trying to get that going. So let's see. 40,
I think we heard Donka on there.
We did hear Donka.
Sandy, what else did we hear? Type it in the chat if you remember. It was very cool, but it was a whole conversation, and I did we determine that the person who spoke German was a doctor? Cheryl?
Yeah, and people might say German in 1903. Yeah, absolutely, because when immigrants came into this country back then, if you were a doctor or a scientist or something of that ilk, you go to the head of the line. As far as immigration, because you were going to bring that vocation in for the betterment of everybody. So, yeah, you could be Dutch, French, English, Scottish, German, whatever.
Right. So, yeah, in this respect, I mean, we were on our AM stations or FM?
They were AM stations, and they were scanning backwards.
So it's like, where did the German come from?
Yeah.
Because it full on repeated, it was either 2 or 3 when she was asking this person's age, and she said it Durfin, whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. It was in that video, but it actually said it on the spirit box. Yeah.
It wasn't like just one German word, because that you could be like, but it was like multiple times, and it's and it's continuously scanning, so it's not like it's picking up on like a.
Yes.
Is there even a German AM station in Rhode Island?
And I don't think anyone was saying that this particular item belonged to this gentleman. No. It was just more a case like, I know what that is.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah. It was like he was he, I think it's a him, was sort of gravitated towards it,
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah. So what a fun interaction. Thank you, Sandy, for the idea. And it
was so cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. It was very cool.
Maybe you want to learn German.
Take it easy now.
I know.
George, before we move on, and I just got a couple of clips. I would like, do you want to get to a couple? I know we got a couple of questions, so we have time now. But to wrap this up, do you guys have any final thoughts on this investigation, or how it stuck with you? Did you go back home, tell the folks this is great?
I've told everybody. I've been collecting my thoughts. I've also been really busy since I got back, but I've been kind of collecting my thoughts on it, and I'm like, I really, really want to go back. I want to, spend more time there. I want to ask more questions. I want to do all the things. I'm sure Cheryl does too.
Oh, a million things. But as much fun as we had at the Pain House, I was telling Ken, I really feel like I came to Massachusetts to meet Cody and Satori and have, the time that we did in the place that, your family hooked up for us.
Mm-hmm.
That was what changed a lot of things for me.
Yeah, that was an intense night.
That's what I was like, I don't even know if I could play clips from this, because it was like the two people that came through, it was like
it's so
their
personal.
Yeah, it was very kind of a personal thing. So I didn't know where I, could go with those.
So we're switching gears now. So we had done the investigation of the Pain House, and then we had another investigation that we did at a location that is tied to my family, and sadly, the people who own the location don't want us to say what it is or where it is. But
Understandable.
I could say it's in Plymouth, though. That part I can share. And Cody and Satori joined us. So I started the evening with a seance, and I have like different types of seances that I do depending on what the evening is. So I didn't do my traditional Victorian seance because we were doing a ghost hunt. So it was kind of like a ghost hunt seance, if that makes any sense. So we had the gadgets set up and everywhere. And we went into, there was this particular room in the building that they call the Red Room. I wanted to go there. I felt energy there earlier. And we set up a round table, and we sat in a circle around the table, and I did my usual like sort of seance thing. And I had all of us hold hands, which there's a thing that I do to get everybody that's at a seance in sync, where I have you sort of like create an energy ball and then pass it through your body so that each person can feel it. And eventually you can actually feel the energy ball sort of, go through you. And I can kind of usually tell when we're all in sync. And as we all take hands and we start the energy ball, instantly I hear knocking. And we hadn't even asked Cody and Satori to do anything. We just, I was just doing my little seance thing. And I was like, is this really happening? Like, there's knocks? Like, is this what they do? Like, but they're not even, it was like we were.
Right. We're not doing it yet.
I know. It's like we're not even doing the thing yet, but it's almost like we were collectively creating the circuit for them, like whatever it is that they do, whatever their energy thing is. And then they had, so then when I started to hear the knocking, I kind of gave up on doing my seance, because I was like, you know what, I can do a zillion seances. I want to see what these two have going on.
We're going on the fly. We're going on the fly here.
I was like, but like we didn't even touch the Ouija board. I was like, who cares about this crap? Let's
right.
Yeah.
This is so old school.
I know. And then they started doing the thing, and I can't share any personal details, but the name that started to come through is a dear family friend who had passed away. And I honestly hadn't even thought about this person, because going into this location, I know it's an old building. I was only thinking about like old people, like time gone by people, not recent people who had passed. I wasn't even thinking about that. And then when his name came through, and this is a person who had spent a lot of time in this particular location, close family friend, dearly beloved, and gone too soon. And he was the first person that came through. And it was like, it was one of those kind of shocking moments. And sadly, my mom got a little upset, so we had to kind of stop it. But I really, really wanted to ask more questions,
Yes.
Like, how are you? Where are you? What's going on? Things
what's your message?
Right.
We're here for a reason. Yeah.
And the thing is, and it's funny because, yes, I can get that as a medium. That's fine. You know what I mean? But there's something about the thing about being a medium is so much of it is in your head. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, it's fine for me, but it's hard for other people to experience. And the thing that I like about what Cody and Satori can do is that there's audience participation. Everybody can be involved. You're not just like relying on a medium filtering information and sharing it. You're experiencing it yourself. You're hearing the knocks. I kept feeling, and I told this to Cody later, and he thought it was so interesting. But I was like, I can feel the vibration coming through my feet and up all the way up through my body. I could feel the energy. And the knocks, the sounds, it was like when they first started, when the person first showed up, you could hear them coming from a different room, walking in. And then once my mom got upset and he left, you could hear him leave. And it was like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. And then at another point, as I kept getting that there was another spirit in the room that was old and tied to one of the photos in there. And we kind of sort of maybe narrowed down who it was. But I noticed at one point when Cody and Satori were doing their thing, a knock came from right above where that same photo was. So it's, it's interesting to me work and how the knocks just come from all over the place. Yeah. It's fascinating. And like, when I do my normal Victorian table tipping seances, I get knocks, but I don't get anywhere near as many knocks as they get. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll get a couple little knocks in the center that, they'll say yes or no, like one knock for yes, two for no, or whatever. And then the spirits usually get depleted and we move on to something else. But they're getting like a zillion knocks. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like it in my life, ever.
So I don't know. You said that there were some clips from that, because I honestly, I listened to some of the audio and I did hear a couple of voices, but I could not confirm that it wasn't me. So I have to look a little deeper into that, because I was like, I heard it on one recorder and then I flashed to my other two recorders and that voice was still there. So I'm trying to confirm whether or not it was me or not.
Where were these from? Were these from the red room or from upstairs in the little room?
Downstairs.
Downstairs. Okay.
Yeah. During the seance. Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't have, I didn't get a lot from Jules, but that's not to say it doesn't exist. Because it's been one of those, she did the best she could. And Julie's dealing with, some health things. So,
sorry about that.
It's a different deal when you're in the room, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because literally it was behind me. I'm right next to Satori. Cody's right next to her. And the knocks are coming from back in the back. And that was just during the seance part. When I walked in on what they were doing upstairs, I could feel the knocks on the floor with my feet. And then I could hear the hollow wall, not like where there's a stud, but it was like the hollow part of the wall knocking. And when there were so many things going on, Cody said, we just need to narrow it down to one person who has an important message. And then you just hear the hollow wall sound. Didn't feel anything else on my feet again. And that was the important message that came through.
So what was distinct to you about the knocks that were up in that room?
They were very directional, and you could tell where they were coming from. And they weren't coming from where they were standing.
Same type of knock is what
they were
mean.
different. They
were totally different. Yep, because when you'd hear it on the floor, it sounded like it was like on carpet, like a hollow, it was muffled. And then on the wall, it was literally like, oh, there's no stud there, because it sounds hollow and it sounds like higher pitched. So yeah, there was definitely pitch differences. There were
in other words,
volume differences.
Yep.
In the knocks.
One sound is tick 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 tick, and the other is thud 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 thud.
Dunk. Yep. Yeah, incredible. I'm not making nobody take her shoes off or nothing, because that's ridiculous. But I mean, it was very obvious. And then when they did start spelling out a name, it was really funny, because I'm listening back to I listened to the audio about 500 times, because that message was for me, and it was a dear family friend that I had not heard from. But when they started spelling the name, you can hear I'm like setting stuff up and I'm moving things, and they get through the first name, and like I stop and they start with the last name, and it was just like you could just hear me whimpering, and man, just so intense. They have something so special, and I'm glad, even though they're getting pushback from some people and harassment from some people and naysayers, that they're still continuing on, because I mean, they're there to give people messages.
Absolutely. And I have to say, like at the end, and I know I mentioned this, I can't remember if I mentioned the town hall or whatever, but at the end of the night, Cheryl went to go get a picture with the two of them. And then I was like, oh wait, I want to pick. Like, I don't usually ask people for pictures. And then I was like, oh, she's doing it, I want to do it too. And so I go up to get, and I'm standing in between the two of them. So I have Satori on my left, I have Cody on my right. They are not holding hands or anything. So like they're not touching each other. They're on either side of me. And as I go to put my arm on, so I have my hand on Cody and I go to put my arm around Satori, and all of a sudden I can feel energy shoot through from Satori, through my arm, through my body, and over to Cody. And then I heard the knocks. And I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, and there's video, because I'm like, I freeze and I freak out, because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I could physically feel the energy. It's just, it's mind boggling to me.
Yeah, I mean, we've been there and done that, but it's high time to just shrug it off. Not shake it off. What does Taylor Swift say? Shake it off.
Yeah, you know what? I had to learn that lesson myself. You know what? You can't worry about what other people are doing.
No,
you do what's right. You do what's good for you. You know, don't ruin anybody else's time, and enjoy life.
Exactly.
Take the messages as they're coming.
Think critically.
Yes.
But at least be in the damn room.
Well, that's the thing. When I
experience it, because I'm very, like, I want to know the details. I want to know all the details. How does it happen? That's why I was like, what is this thing you're studying? Like, how does it work? What is it? What do you know? Tell me how it works. And like seeing it, I'm literally just like, they are messengers from whatever powerful place there is.
I have so many ideas for experiments that we could do with them. With like, not bad experience, no, good ones, to talk to, like what spirits can we get through, and like what cool stuff can we, you know what I mean? Like, just because what they have is so unique and so special, and it like I could see like setting up so many different cool scenarios, because I was thinking, we've got, like, I would love to bring them out to the Glen Tavern Inn, and
absolutely,
and walk them through that space and see what they get there. And because there's so many like fake stories that come out of that place, but then there's real spirits that are in there.
Totally. So that we've got names from Natasha and from you and other people that have been around there. I think Tim's listening too, so he's been there, and I want to know what we can call these people now. I feel so bad. Maybe that's why I get so many FUs there.
I'll tell you what. This is for later. When we get out of here, we, of course, always invite you to stay. I want to invite you to stay because I want to tell you about something.
Okay.
You guys just made me cry that whole time. Like, that's why I didn't want to play any video, because I was like, my face is all red. I was like, crying.
I think that you were, because we did come on live with George that night, and I think you were very brave, Cheryl, to tell your story and what happened up in that room that night, because I know that I put an arm around you because you were obviously, I don't want to say struggling with it, but I mean, it was an emotional time. And that's why poor Melissa, when she was coming into the room, I go, stop. And she's just kind of like, what did I do? Like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. It's just like, something is going on. She knew. Like,
it's
something's
so
going
funny.
on here.
because we were getting lost the whole weekend. So like I had just started yelling Marco, and they would be like Polo, so we could find each other. And during that thing, they were like starting to give me my message, and I hear Marco, and I'm just like I can't, like I can't respond right now because I'm like.
Yeah, no, it was difficult, but it's something that me on a personal level that I've seen and dealt with when it's like, uh-oh, and immediately there comes a point in the spelling that someone you look around the room and somebody's got their eyes like this, and you start to make your way over to them a little bit because it's like, I don't know how this is going to be taken. Not that they're upset. I've never seen anybody upset, but it's just kind of like, this may go a certain way here. So
yeah, but it's like, yeah, it was fantastic. And you know what? You know how I've been pushing? Like, I need to meet them. I need to meet them. I want to experience this. I want to know them. And I hate it when people are given so much grief and have such a hard time. Like, I just feel like, you got to support people. You got to support people, whether if you don't like what they're doing, you don't like what they're doing. But, I just try to be as supportive as I can. And I felt like I just had to meet them. I didn't realize that, straight out the gate, they were going to give me an answer that I'd been waiting years for. And literally, I'd never mentioned that person ever in all of the things that I've done over the years until the day before or 2 days before, 2 days before.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you from a personal perspective, anything that happened in the room in that time was news to me.
Oh yeah.
In fact, I even confused the message.
Yep.
When a word was, oh, this is okay, this is what happened to him. It's like, no, that's not. You don't understand. Like Cheryl, I mean, we come on here, we talk. I don't know you.
Right. And so when you were talking, on the town hall with the Patreon group, I mean, I've been in the town halls more often now, and I feel comfortable with all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I felt like, I can at least share this with, these people, my other, paranormal community.
Right.
And just,
But this was all news. As far as the messages and everything that came across to you, I just want to emphasize that none of us were like, oh, yeah, I know what they're talking about. No one knew what they were talking about.
Right. And even when they were spelling out the name, like the last digit, like the last letter, they got wrong. But when I was playing back my audio, I heard the knock in the right place.
Yeah. Well, that happens sometimes.
That's why I was like, no.
I'm not trying to be their lawyer, but after 5 times of going through the alphabet, Satori, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, at first it's slow, and then it's like, I just want to get this over with.
Yeah. Yes, Mary.
And
there's absolutely no reason to be bad-mouthing others in the field.
I've seen that
period
happen, where it's like, yeah, I'm not going to tell Tori slow down. It's like, hey, screw you, Ken. It's, you know what I mean.
And it's so amazing because it's like, it's so funny because Cody is just, he is so special. He is so calm and so quiet, and he has such a gentle, caring energy to him. He is like a force to be freaking reckoned with. And Satori has enough power to embrace that, and her communication style. I mean, literally, that's what she's doing. She's communicating it just blows my mind.
We've all been through it. Everybody in our particular group. George has been through it remotely, 1,500 miles away from us.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, there's no explaining it until you're actually in that room and you're physically seeing the looks on people's faces when they realize that the name is something familiar to them. Yeah. I saw it on your face, Melissa, when they spelled out because you were surprised when they started spelling out the last name too. I saw it on your face and I was like, she knows this dude.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I was super bummed that I wasn't able to go further with that, but I
know. And you know what? Hindsight is always 2020. After the fact, I was like, I wish I would have said this and asked this and told them this and but I can still tell them anything I want.
Yeah.
Because they're still around me.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. And I wanted to just quickly to go back for a hot second about.
Uh-oh, spirits again.
Yeah, it's hard. Oh, did I get frozen?
Yeah, you got frozen.
It's hard when you do have interesting gifts like this, because, you know, I was totally afraid to tell people I was a medium. I was terrified to tell people that. You know, oh, did I freeze again?
No, you're good.
Okay.
No.
Both of you froze.
That was just my face.
Yeah. No, it's hard to, because I was terrified that people are going to be like, oh, she's batshit crazy, lock her up, loony bin girl. You know what I mean? Like, and even to this day, I have, some own family members who still don't believe it. You know what I mean? And because I think, though, it's because they just have a hard time wrapping their mind around it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what all of these other people think. All that matters is who's in the room with you, who are you helping people? Do people enter your life and walk away being better than when they came into your life? And
I'm totally down with that.
Right. And if that's what's happening, then, and that's the only reason why I do what I want to do, or do what I do, is that I want to help people. And if I am, then I'm doing my job, and that's all that matters. And I feel like with Cody and Satori, I feel like they're the same way. Yep. They have this incredible, rare, strange gift. And then the first thing they said to me when I met them was, we are not psychics and medium. We're not that. And I was kind of shocked because, my belief is that everybody is a little bit, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm like,
if they hang out with you a little more often, because I think that'll change.
I know. I'm like, you just don't know you are yet.
I wanted to, before we wrap, there are a couple of clips from that location. Just to give you an example, the seance, like first time participating in one, it's like you want to be part of it. It's like, hell yeah, I want to be part of it. But this is only a 13-second clip, but this gives you kind of a vibe of what was going on.
And just take a couple slow, deep breaths. You're going to breathe in, hold, and then out through your mouth. Hold, another in.
You could already hear the knock. There was a knock at the end of that.
So okay, hang on.
And just take a couple slow, deep breaths. You're going to breathe in, hold, and then out through your mouth. Hold, another in.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I did hear one at the end. No one's holding hands at that point.
No, nobody was even holding hands.
Don't even need to anymore.
They were just
and we're also talking about up in the room, and I'm not going to, because we don't have a lot of video of them, doing this method, because there were some things that were more important that were going on at the time. And make sure we get a camera in here. This was something Cheryl was, dealing with, and we just want to be there for her. And it wasn't like, okay, everybody stop, hold your emotions so we can put you on camera, I mean, that was not important.
My camera was running. It stopped.
Well, that room was weird, though. Remember, that was the weird room. Like my speaker, my thingy, my spirit box stopped.
My Panda box broke. Her spirit box broke. Like my settings got all jacked up, and it wouldn't even scan. I had to go and look up a reset option and talk to John Mallory, because I was like, I went to this location and it jacked up my fancy equipment. So
yeah, it was really bizarre.
Now the absolute last clip of the night. And this is interesting. This is up in that room, and we were doing an EVP EMF session. I'm kind of standing. You guys are doing your thing. Now, because of the nature of this club, in the context, and of course, Satori's dealt with this before. When you go to certain places, there's a difference between the sexes, between genders, right? Mm-hmm. Some is more female-oriented, some is more male-oriented, and depending on the generation and the era, sometimes whether you're male or female makes a difference in being acknowledged and the responses. So I had asked a question, and I didn't even notice at the time, but one of the meters on the floor went off. I wasn't paying attention. Somebody else was, and then somebody, it might have been you, Cheryl, somebody asked the same question, or maybe it was Tori. No response, and then Tori had an idea. And all right, this is kind of cool. Let you watch the clip.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I need one of you to ask the same exact question she did, because I want to see if they're only going to answer to an end.
All right, the question posed to you by that young lady, I will have to respond to that and ask you the same thing. Did you die in this room?
You have to be a man.
I appreciate your response.
Rude is what I said. Rude.
It made sense for that location, though, entirely. You know,
Totally. And another thing is, like, I asked a question when the spirit box was running, and it shut off altogether. It was still scanning, but the speaker went off.
Yeah, it was like
no more questions for you.
Yeah.
And to show you we do like to figure out things, this was sent. Do you see the heat signature in the rear of the table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What that is basically, those are all pictures with glass frames, and one of us is reflecting off of that glass. And when you're using a FLIR camera, it will also reflect your heat signature.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, so we do pay attention to things. Everything isn't paranormal.
Exactly. Sometimes it's a vent.
Yes, and that's why I didn't send you the EVP. Well, it's not an EVP because it's on all 3 of my recorders, because I'm not convinced that it's not me. So, there's still evidence to go over. And we had so much cool video that I was like, I don't even need to do audio, because we had such a cool experience. And I'm so glad we were able to share it. And we're going to do it again.
I want to do another seance and invite you, though, Ken, because that seance, I felt bad because it kind of got interrupted, and I really want to do another one sometime and do the whole thing, because it's
yeah. Yeah, because all of those things were happening, but I'm up for it. I'm
cool.
Game. Sure, I'll sit in the circle. Why not?
So Cheryl, we're going to planning another trip to the East Coast.
It's the start of a
not
new
April next
thing.
year.
Yeah, whether it's going to be annual, semi-annual, that you all take a trip over. But you're getting great results. You're producing, and who knows what other secrets that you will uncover when you guys get out there to do this. So,
yeah, and I'll thank you, Ken, again, for having such a positive energy and allowing us into these places, and meeting Cody and Satori, who are again just super positive, awesome people, and Sandy. Again, the energy in the room was just so bright that it was like, if nothing happened, I would have had the best time.
Welcome to our weird group here.
I love it.
Yeah,
listen,
it was so nice to see you guys in person. It was so nice to spend that time. I feel like I know you anyway, but this was better.
You're taller than I expected.
Yeah, thank you, Melissa, for Plymouth, and thanks, guys, for being who you are, because we tend to find our own. You know what I mean? And
yes, that's totally true.
And I think we might have to ghost hunt my mom's house.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm like, take her out to dinner.
We'll take them out.
That's a tough sell.
Yeah.
I'm not, I wasn't ever a feely kind of a person, but that place I was like, oh,
I know.
what
And we
is here right now?
Money, go to a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Pay for a fancy dinner for her.
We did a GoFundMe. We raised $5,000. Go to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
And we also have to go to Burial Hill Cemetery, because we never got to do it. Rained, so it wouldn't have been fun. But we have
I played golf through that thing that day. That was not fun.
No.
and don't forget the trade-off too for an invitation for Ken to get out there to the West Coast, because
Yay!
long overdue for something like that. So,
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, we are going to go ahead and end the show at this point in time. We will certainly be seeing you guys again very soon. I know, Cheryl, you always pop in on our town hall. And
See you
don't forget,
tomorrow.
Tuesday is our very special Halloween game show. Make sure that you guys check it out with the stars of our other two shows here on the channel. And we are looking forward to that as well. If we don't see you guys before then, have the happiest of Halloweens and a great rest of your week. And we'll see you back next week with a very special guest, Jack Kenna, is going to be joining us. On behalf of Ken DaCosta, my name is George Lopez. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take care.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats. Baby's bad, oh baby's hella bad. After her there ain't no coming back. Wanna take a run at that. I think she's feeling me, turn it up a few degrees. My imagination of her body gets the best of me. Oh gosh, she's such